Hey folks, today we're talking with Prem Balwani. Prem's the founder and CEO of iGrabit. They're an artificial intelligence-based app to create your shopping list. Yep, it's something that frankly, when it was presented to us, we thought it might be a little bit boring, but it's a really fun interview. Prem's charming, got a good sense of humor, and like any good geek, gets excited in ways that, while we know nothing about software, are infectious. But more importantly, they're a company looking to disrupt the disruption. And by that we mean they're looking to create resources for small grocers, for small regional chains and independents, to allow them to compete against Amazon, Walmart, Target, Costco.
I believe that retail is not dying. What the consumer is looking for is a better experience than what they have today. And then that's where we come in.
Cornucopia One-on-One starts now.
This is Cornucopia.
Prem, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Prem Balwani. I'm the CEO and then founder of iGrabit. iGrabit is a grocery or an AI-based platform that bridges the online and offline transactions that are happening today, essentially connecting local shoppers to stores as well as the brands together on the same place.
Tell us what that actually means to someone that might sign up for iGrabit.
Absolutely. So we imagine a world where our consumers will be able to have a seamless grocery shopping experience, whether they are doing from home, whether they're even at their workplace. They're doing from mobiles, from the desktops, from Alexa or some of these voice devices, or even when they're in store. We want to create a platform that's going to give them a very, very seamless experience. Our consumers still spend hours going to the exact same aisle, and then 80% of the time, they're refilling the exact same thing that they have in the pantry. So with our platform, what we really intend to do, allow them to easily add things to their shopping list, easily send them to the grocery stores so that they can keep them ready, and then either they can have them delivered or they can just keep them ready for our consumers to go pick up at the store.
Back in the 1960s, my mother would order milk from the milkman, and then the milkman kind of knew what the order was. Additionally, there used to be greengrocers that would drive their trucks around and knew that, Mrs. Epstein needed that. The Espositos needed something else. So how does artificial intelligence work? One, and is it limited mostly to families where there's certain consumption patterns?
That's a great question. And then what a great reference. I mean, that's exactly right? So in those old times, you had these people who were walking around who kind of knew your preferences. And then that's exactly what we're leveraging using AI for our platform to really understand. It's all, the entire focus is around personalization. That's what we really believe in at the heart of everything that we are offering with iGrabit. So our platform will learn and will understand your preferences. It will understand, why you like a certain product, where depending on whether they're price sensitive to certain items, or they like a certain product because they really enjoy the quality of the product. And then, from that point onwards, we, depending on how often they are consuming the product, we'll be providing notifications, we'll be providing alerts to make their life easier.
If I am somebody who cherry picks sale prices, and every time a certain item I like is on sale, I'm ordering quantities of them, that's a pretty easy bit of information for the iGrabit AI to understand.
That is exactly right. Knowing what the consumers like, and then really knowing what different coupons are available in the marketplace. Not just that. Let me go a little bit further. What we intend to do. The whole coupon clipping ends up being a very, very tedious process, and a lot of people are really off-put by it. That's going to get a lot easier with our platform as well.
In the case of that coupon, the penny and a half, whatever the retailer gets for the redemption, there'd be a revenue share for you as well as the retailer with a coupon transaction like that.
Exactly. That is exactly right.
Gotcha. So let's talk in terms of the actual interface. I just threw my 16-year-old son out of the house. So all of a sudden, my consumption of Kraft macaroni and cheese, Doritos, and Oreos has gone down dramatically. I can manually change my preferences.
Yeah, so it will learn over time.
For any parents that are out there listening, remember, we like to laugh. Most people in the world don't have enough food to eat, so don't take it too serious. So he's out the door by 7 a.m. and my order's scheduled to come in that afternoon.
So you can, as soon as he's out the door, user interface that we have on our site, you can actually go in there and you can flag that you don't want this item in the order next time, or you can even say that you still have that in your pantry. We allow our consumers to manage their pantry however they want to, and really allow and giving them all these different tools and options to interface with the AI, like you said, and then basically say either I don't want this item anymore, or not to alert me about it.
We'll spend another minute just on the consumer side. I understand you can share a list. So if at the office Friday afternoon party, I'm going to come home with 4 burritos, I can amend my list, and my spouse, whoever gets the groceries, will know we don't need dinner for that night.
Yes, anybody in the household that you have shared the list with can make changes, and it's all in real time. And they can even send that list directly to the partner store. And then me as a customer, when I'm going to the store, all I have to do is go pick it up. I may not even have to look at the list beforehand, and it will all be ready by the store for me to pick up when it's time.
So in your example of going to the store for a click and collect model, are you currently live with any retailers?
Yes, we are. We actually are live with retailers here in South Florida, and then we're in the last stages of going live with a lot of different stores in Chicago as well.
And what are you seeing in demographics? Is it skewing away from the baby boomers? Is it more millennials? Is there any kind of current data you have?
It's interesting. Our initial data set was really targeted around millennials. But it is very interesting that what we're noticing is there's a good chunk of our baby boomers are starting to use our platform as well. But yes, primarily it's just millennials that we see that are using our system today.
With your current retailers, there's a revenue share on that side as well. For every transaction for $100, you will generate a certain percent. Is that fair to say, or does it depend on the product mix? Some categories have higher margins, lower margins.
It really depends on the product mix, yes. And then our partnerships with each individual stores is different, but it depends on the category or the product mix. And then we're basically structuring it in a way that's really focused around our retailers. So our big real focus is enabling our retail partners to compete with the public, to compete with these big brands. They're coming out with all these different technologies.
I want to shift to that because you're dealing with retailers that don't necessarily, I imagine, have the latest technology. Tell me a little bit about the challenges with interfacing with these retailers that don't have the big pocketbooks to upgrade POS and other inventory management systems. Are you guys being the teacher as well as a partner?
Yes, we absolutely are, and then that's what we actually love. We're actually enjoying the process very much so. So we're walking into these stores. We're helping them understand how some of these big players are in the marketplace today, and then helping them accomplish those same things. So as you can imagine, we really cannot have sort of a one size that fits all kind of solution. So we have for each retailer, depending on where they are in the process or depending on how mature they are with their technology, we are offering them various different options to do so. So we have a sort of a back-end interface where certain retailers are actually going in and managing the inventory themselves. And then we have other retailers that we just interface with their software provider, and then we have a real-time sync behind the scenes set up for them. It's very exciting.
If you're enjoying this and haven't listened to our previous shows, check out our archives on our website, cornucopia.show, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Don't miss our pilot episode, The History of the Supermarket, the similarities between the issues that occurred when A&P opened in the latter half of the 19th century to what's going on with Amazon Whole Foods today is uncanny. History of the Supermarket. And now back to Cornucopia One-on-One. There must be a wide number of very Luddite or technophobic questions that you've had, because I know the grocery business. You have any anecdotes that you could share without naming names?
So it's funny you mentioned that. That is absolutely true in terms of It's still being an industry where, it hasn't matured enough at scale to some of the other technology advances that have happened in other sectors. But what we are surprised by is the industries is really opening up. We're seeing great conversions. We do get a lot of technophobic questions. Absolutely. But I think the way that we are helping our customers and helping them understand and really overcome those concerns and overcome those fears, and in helping them understand how this is going to help them.
Yeah, and for listeners that don't quite understand the references to the grocery business being old-fashioned and technophobic, margins are so small that very often the more appropriate devotion of resources is dedicated to actual promotions and or improvements at store level rather than back-end level.
There's a big narrative in the media around retail dying, and then that the online companies like Amazon and then some of the other ones are taking away businesses from retail. We believe that retail is not dying. What the consumer is looking for is a better experience than what they have today. And then that's where we come in. We're helping that consumer experience to get better, augmented consumer experience, whether they're at home or whether they are in store. And we want to help those stores better understand what the consumer is looking for so that they can stock them up, their stores, exactly based on the customer preferences, if that makes sense. So we absolutely help take both sides of the aisle, but we are helping both of them in their own ways, and then allowing the market to kind of play by itself.
Your AI can help retailers better manage waste.
Yep. As we get more deeply integrated with the retail stores, we can absolutely help them reduce the waste. Because that's, at the end of the day, it's all about supply chain. We are looking to better improve the supply chain, help the retailers cut down their costs behind all the wasted food products, and then allow them to repurpose those funds and that capital towards something better. So all these online orders that are come in, they can repurpose those funds towards starting to pack those orders for those customers.
And then what about the integration with appliances?
That's a great point. Now, we are absolutely on track to make that happen. We are working with a few different providers. I'm not going to name any names, but we imagine a future where these voice devices, so Alexa, Bixby, for example, we definitely see that deeper integration happening. There are certain there's voice control devices that are about to come out in the marketplace, and then we'll be integrated with them. So you can actually be at home. You can be in your kitchen, and then you could be speaking into those products and really ordering your groceries right from there.
As impressed I am with your technology, where are the sharks in the water currently also on this track? And do you guys have any particular kind of 2, 3, and 5 year position in the market?
So in 5 years, we imagine ourselves to be doing a lot more further and then pushing the envelope a lot more further. Our product pipeline and our vision is so grand. But food is where really this starts. And then once we get to that scale, we already have big plans in helping our customers live a healthy lifestyle, giving them different experiences, allowing them different preferences where they can live a much better and much healthier lifestyle. Depending on where they want to go.
Well, I can see where that informational bridge between the product and the consumer would be hugely expanded. I'm a little bit cynical on whether consumers are actually motivated by the things they say they are, i.e., the fact that we have such pandemic levels of obesity and diabetes, despite the fact that an increasing number of people say they watch what they eat. But I can see where that integration would be hugely dynamic and advantageous, particularly to high-level information shoppers.
It's all about providing them the best information at their fingertips, right? And then allowing them to make a decision.
So, have you watched many old sci-fi movies?
I've watched a lot. I'm a geek at heart, so.
But here's my last question for you. Open the refrigerator door, Hal.
Yes.
I'm sure it must trigger a lot of things in folks, the idea that we're no longer writing down our shopping list.
Right.
So what's the technophobic fears that you've heard from? What are the kind of objections that you've heard from people?
It's funny, I think that the biggest technophobic thing that we have heard from our customers, and especially the people at home, is sometimes people don't want other neighbors or somebody else to find out what they're having or what they have in the pantry, or what they're buying more often, per se. So we actually ended up having to put privacy in place where if people can decide who they decide to share that information.
I used to have a big weight problem when I was a kid, and I vividly remember buying those big 7-ounce Hershey chocolate bars and hiding the wrappers in my bedroom until I could get on the school bus and throw them out.
I mean, and it makes sense. Sure. People have privacy concerns, so we ended up putting those in place.
Tell us the website address and if there's any cost for signing up.
Sure. You can go to our website. It's www.igrab.it. That's igrab.it. iGrabit. Or you could download our app. Our app is available on the App Store under iGrabit.
And then currently just South Florida, and then you're rolling out in Chicago area stores, correct?
That is correct. Chicago and in New York. Those are our two key target areas right now.
Okay. And any partner stores you want to promote before we sign off?
So these are all local stores that we are. So Happy Foods is one of the partner stores that we will be coming on board with very, very soon. Triton is a store over here in South Florida.
That was Trident, like the guy with the fork?
No, sorry, Triton, Triton, Triton. That's also in Florida.
Excellent. Well, I'm look forward to following what you do. And as an ex-New Yorker, let me tell you that when Whole Foods opened up in Chelsea, a large number of industry analysts thought they would never make it there because the overhead was too high. In the tonier neighborhoods, people didn't cook much. The average item in a refrigerator was a couple bottles of Heineken, a bottle of Stoli in the freezer, and then probably some half-eaten box of Cars table water crackers and some stale brie. So, and Whole Foods kind of changed that along with the culture in general, but I'm really fascinated to follow what you do. And then in particular, I think the story in New York is going to be interesting because in such a dense place, the ability for that utility could be really transformative to a lot of indies, but also fascinating in the way it can help change the food culture in a city that tends to be trend conscious. iGrabit. We'll see where divorce rates go down and families that use iGrabit. All right, Prem.
Perfect. No, thank you. We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
My pleasure. Take care.
Meet George Jetson.